Don't be jealous. I know not everybody can wake up with hair looking this good.
Starting a GLP-1 didn't just help me lose 125 pounds, it changed how I live, how I cook, and how I feed my family. Our kitchen is the heart of the home, and it is in constant use. Today I made breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and my girls each cooked up a yummy treat as well. Most of our meals are simple, whole foods made at home, and this is what that looks like on a normal day.
Okay, we're starting our morning with warm asparagus salad and homemade biscuits because even though I ate cereal every day of my life, from my childhood, my kids don't. So this is what my kids requested. They requested the warm asparagus salad. I'm throwing in the biscuits. I make homemade biscuits. I prepped my dry ingredients last night as a gift to myself this morning. I do a lot of food prep ahead of time because it really helps me out. This morning is rough. It is already 8:14. We are so behind in life already. I froze my butter. I grate it and I freeze it. It makes for better biscuits. It's a secret ingredient in biscuits. So I'm gonna put my 6 tablespoons of frozen butter into 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of sugar. And this, if you're making pastry, usually you have to cut in the butter. That's my reminder to wake up my daughter. I'm gonna go get her in a second. So, Alexa, stop. Okay, so I don't have to cut in the butter. I just mix it all in. Now I can add my other ingredients. I'm gonna be using Fairlife milk. I like to use this whenever I'm baking just because it adds a little bit of extra protein. Okay, I need 3/4 cup of milk. I don't really do measurements and things, so I'm using a 1 cup and I'm just gonna eyeball it. My kids are actual bakers. They would not agree with this method of baking, but it has served me well and that's what I do. Okay, I'm gonna mix that up. And my kids really like homemade biscuits. I tried to get frozen biscuits that were, you know, in my day, we ate canned biscuits. And I don't know that I've made canned biscuits for my kids. No, she's looking at me telling me no. But I have made frozen biscuits. And the last time I made them, my oldest kind of commented that they taste a little bit strange, like they had just this chemical taste, and I even noticed it too. There was just this coating on my tongue. I think it's the hydrogenated oil or something. I don't know. But once you start eating food made from scratch and quality, good food with good ingredients, you can really taste the difference. Maybe that sounds snobby to say, but you can really taste the difference and you can't go back once you've been to the dark side of delicious homemade food. It's hard to go back, and that's how you get into the cycle of waking up at 8 o'clock and making warm asparagus salad and biscuits for breakfast. I got this new cutting board. I'm kind of in love with it. We had plastic cutting boards. We're getting all torn up. I worry about plastic in our food, but our wooden cutting boards were too heavy for my kids to carry around. So I found these ones. They're super thin, and I'm really liking it. Okay, secret with biscuits is that you don't roll them out, you just pat out your dough. This dough to come together, it's almost there. I might need a little more liquid. It's definitely too crumbly. Okay, I'm gonna use my hands to bring this dough together. I had to add a little bit more milk. It was a little bit crumbly. But now we're in business. We're gonna pat out this dough. And then another secret to biscuits is the folding. You've gotta fold it, get those nice flaky layers in there.
Cooking from scratch for a family of 5 means a lot of dishes. We run our dishwasher at least twice a day. I don't typically eat breakfast because I like to work out in the mornings before I eat. I slept in and missed my morning weight workout today and threw off my whole schedule. So I actually ended up fasting until lunchtime.
While my eggs are cooking, I'm going to start prepping for lunch because when you're feeding a family of 5, you've got to stay one step ahead. So I have to do something now to make lunch easier. And I'm gonna be doing a cucumber avocado chicken salad for lunch. So I'm gonna make the shredded chicken for the salad. I'm gonna put it in my Instant Pot. I love my Instant Pot. It is so useful and so handy because it can cook while I'm doing something else. I'm gonna put a little bit of water in the bottom of this, and then I'm just using frozen chicken. I set my Instant Pot to manual and I cook it for 35 minutes because I'm using frozen chicken breasts, and it comes out perfectly tender shredded chicken every time.
My warm asparagus salad is actually a copycat recipe of an old Cheesecake Factory recipe from probably 20 years ago. It's fresh asparagus with a little lemon juice, pine nuts, Parmesan cheese, sun-dried tomatoes, and a fried egg on top. My kids don't like sun-dried tomatoes, so I do cherry tomatoes, but either way, it is so good.
My kids are eating breakfast and I'm gonna go out for a quick run. Probably about a year and a half ago, I started running a mile every Monday. And when I started running, I was not good at running. I still am not. I'm very slow. I don't run long distances. And so I would start by running 30 seconds at a time. I would run 30 seconds and then take a quick break for like a minute, and then I would run 30 seconds again. Eventually I've built up where now I can run a mile straight, which I feel really proud of. I've even done a 5K around the whole time. So every Monday I start off with a mile. It just makes me feel my best. I feel like if I can tackle a mile on a Monday, then I am winning at life, even on days where everything goes wrong, like today, where my kids slept in and I had to sit with them. I didn't get my workout in. I'm going to have to fit my workout in later in the day. So here we go with our Mile Monday.
I used to always double the recipe when I made homemade biscuits for breakfast because I would eat almost an entire batch by myself. I never would have saved this one lonely biscuit for later. I definitely would have eaten it. Having a GLP-1 in my brain means that I'm not having to resist eating biscuits. I just don't care and have zero desire to eat them. For lunch, we're cooking up avocado cucumber chicken salad. It's got kind of an Asian flair. The dressing has some rice vinegar, some soy sauce. I add in some Fage Greek yogurt to the shredded chicken, mix it all together, and it is so yummy. This recipe is from one of my favorite recipe creators. I'll put a link to the recipe in the description. I almost always eat some sort of salad for lunch. I like to keep things simple and I'm a creature of habit. It's nice to get in my fresh veggies and lots of protein. And speaking of protein, if you're looking for more easy protein ideas, I have a free protein guide where I share the protein options I love and that help me to lose 125 pounds. I'll put a link to download the PDF in the description. Cooking for a family is hard when you have constant food noise. Every time I was in the kitchen, I was eating. I was nibbling while I cooked and taking bites while I was serving my kids their plates. Then I ate my meal, I ate my kids' leftovers, I ate more leftovers as I cleaned up. And being on a GLP-1 completely erased my food noise. If I'm not hungry, I have no desire to eat food. It has been such a gift to be able to feed my family, but also know that I'm not harming myself with food every single time I'm in the kitchen. This is one of the biggest reasons that I still take a weekly maintenance shot, and I'm so thankful for these meds. I didn't get to my strength training workout in the morning, but I always have a plan B to fit it in. We finished our homeschool day, I taxied my kids to afternoon tutoring and music lessons, and then got home ready to get to work. I usually have a protein shake after my morning weight workout, but because this day was all crazy, I was feeling a little bit hungry this afternoon, so I had it before my workout. I added my creatine to my shake, which I try to take every day. I don't really feel any different with it, but it definitely helps my muscle definition.
Okay, I just got my workout in and now I've got to make dinner. It is 5:10. My kids are going to be hungry. So we're going to do a quick and easy dinner tonight because I have yard work to get to. I'm going to do loaded baked potatoes with chicken and you're going to see how easy this is. My kitchen is in constant use. While I was out taking one of my kids to lessons, somebody made some sort of taffy. I don't even know. We're going to put that over there. Okay, so we're going to cut up some mini baby potatoes. I'm just going to cut these in half. First, I'm going to wash them. Okay, here we go. We're going to just chop these in half. I got these new knives recently and they are seriously the best. I've struggled with knives forever. I've bought expensive knives, Cutco knives before, and I just do not stay on top of sharpening them, so they get really dull really fast. These knives were so cheap on Amazon. My sister-in-law had one that a friend of hers got from some sort of Asian grocery store. And I used it at her house and I just about died because it was so amazing. So I actually found them on Amazon and it came in a 2-pack of these knives for $11. I've spent over $100 on one knife before that has become useless. So I'm super excited about these. Honestly, even if they don't last that long, it's worth it. So I'm really glad I have these nice knives now so I can cut my potatoes. Okay, so I'm going to roast these potatoes in my air fryer. I actually have an air fryer combo oven. So we had to replace the oven in this house when we moved in. The oven had no light and I think it was the display on it. It was like a digital display and you couldn't see what the temperature of the oven was. So part of our home warranty was to replace that oven. So we replaced the oven with one that could also air fry, and it is such a game changer. I used to have a countertop air fryer and I loved it. And honestly, I've thought about getting one again because it does work a little bit better to get things super crispy. But the benefit of having the air fryer oven is that I'm cooking for my family of 5, and we're usually cooking a big quantity of things. If you just have 1 or 2 people, the countertop air fryer is amazing, but I would spend so much time sitting there shaking the basket and cooking food in batches in my countertop air fryer. So I do have one that I loved. I had a Dash. It was so pretty. It was like a minty teal green. I loved it, but now I have my oven and it works great. And I don't even really use it comes with like a metal meshing so that it can get the air frying from all sides, but I find it a pain to clean. And one of the things that I need to be able to cook healthy food from scratch for my family all day, every day is to make things easy. So if something's hard to clean, I don't want to do it. So I typically just use a sheet pan and I always just line them with parchment paper because it makes for super easy cleanup. But I still like the air fryer function because it gets things crispy, it cooks pretty quickly, and I don't have to use a ton of oil on it. I can just use I use avocado oil spray, so I'll spritz these potatoes with that. And now, of course, I said I'm making baked potatoes. Obviously, this doesn't really look like baked potatoes. I'm making these little mini potatoes, again, because I have to make things quick and easy for myself. So if I was going to cook baked potatoes, it takes forever. I remember the few times that I tried to cook big potatoes. It was like dinner time and they're still hard in the middle. So I always do little potatoes. They taste the same. My kids don't know the difference. And I'm going to make these more like nachos. So like the potatoes is the base.
and then I'm gonna just air fry these first, and then I'm gonna add kind of my toppings to the top of it. So I've got my potatoes, and I'm going to do it a spritz with avocado oil spray. Now, there is one thing missing from these potatoes that I 100% would recommend putting on them, which is Kinder's The Blend seasoning. I am out, and I went to Costco. I made a video at Costco shopping, and I was so focused on the video, I forgot a few of my staples that I always get, and I cannot believe the things I forgot. It's a travesty. And one of them was the blend. It is so good. It is garlic, black pepper, and salt. Obviously, I can put that on here, but something about the way that they do it is so good. So I'm just going to put a little bit of salt. I'm going to find my garlic powder. I'm going to put a little bit of garlic powder on here. And then I'm going to add some pepper. Oh, that's actually white pepper. I just realized my kids must have put white pepper in there. Cool. Okay, now I'm going to stick these in the oven. I have the air fryer set to 425, and I'm going to guess it's probably going to take about 15 minutes.
While that cooks, I'm going to unload my dishwasher again. This is the second time I've unloaded it today. So here we go. When you cook from scratch, you have a lot of dishes. When you have 3 kids and a husband who works from home, and you homeschool, and you are all 5 home all the time, it's a lot of dishes. So I did not always know how to cook. When I got married, I really knew how to cook nothing. I could make tuna helper. We used Voila chicken pasta, which came frozen with pasta and chicken and some vegetables. And my idea of cooking from scratch was adding another bag of frozen vegetables to the pasta. And that was the extent of my cooking knowledge. And cooking is really a skill that you have to hone over time with a lot of practice. The good news is that if you're cooking for kids, you get a lot of practice because they get hungry like clockwork 3 or more times a day.
So when my first daughter was born, I learned to cook. When she was 6 months old and was going to start eating solid food, I did not want to feed her baby food like you would buy at the grocery store. I wanted all of her food to be lovingly prepared with ingredients that I knew how to pronounce and ingredients that came from my kitchen without anything added to it. I got really big into real food, which now, I use that term really loosely. We do try to eat whole foods as much as possible, but it is impossible to eat whole foods all of the time if you have other priorities. If your main priority is feeding your family whole foods all the time, you could do that. You would just spend all day in the kitchen. I'm already spending quite a bit of time in the kitchen, and I'm using a lot of convenience foods. And we have gone through phases where we've used more whole foods, where we've grown more food in our very own garden, where I have canned food so that we can save and preserve food for the future. And I am just at a point in my life right now where that is not my biggest priority. So I am willing to sacrifice by using some convenience foods. And I do try to make sure those convenience foods are as healthy as possible. But there are other times where we will order a pizza or we will go out and have Chick-fil-A. So I am not as super strict and rigid as I once was when it comes to food. And that's because I understand now that having priorities means that things can ebb and flow and change, and nothing is forever.
When I first started on a GLP-1 and started on my weight loss journey, I was so focused on doing all of the things that I needed to do to be my very best and healthy self, and feeding my family definitely took a back seat. It was also partly because having a GLP-1 in my brain made it really hard to think about food. It made it really hard to meal plan and to grocery shop and think about what kinds of food I was going to feed my family. That side effect has lessened over time, and I am more able to do it, although not to the extent that I once was before. I used to think about food constantly and think about what I was going to be making next, or think about what I was going to be eating next. And it used to just be constantly running in the background of my brain. I used to be constantly grocery shopping and planning. And I did enjoy meal planning because I enjoyed the food that I ate. So I wanted to plan meals that we would enjoy. now because some of that, I guess the dopamine response has been tampered in my brain. I don't get that same satisfaction and enjoyment out of food. So the planning for my family's meals really doesn't give me all that much satisfaction. Right now, my goals are just to feed my family well and to have food that we can eat and helps us all meet our goals. It helps keep my kids healthy and helps fuel my muscles and my body. And while I want it to be palatable and tasty enough, having the fanciest, most tasty, delicious food is not my goal anymore. So our meals are pretty simple and I just don't put that much effort into them. And I think that's okay.
Okay, I was just thinking about what kind of vegetable I could do with this potato mixture I'm about to make. And I thought, let me just grab a bag of frozen broccoli. I'm going to throw this in with the potatoes. They've been cooking for about 5 minutes. I'm just going to throw this in so that they can cook with the potatoes. And my kids like broccoli. I love frozen vegetables. I always keep them on hand. We will always have broccoli, green beans, cauliflower in our freezer because those are the 3 vegetables that my kids are sure to eat. We definitely eat other vegetables, but those ones we always have on hand so that we can add them to a meal like this for a quick and easy vegetable. Once my potatoes are nice and crispy and my broccoli's done, I go ahead and put the broccoli on top of the potatoes. Next, I'm going to layer the chicken on top. And for the best part, I'm going to put my shredded cheese. I don't like pre-shredded cheese, so I always get a block of cheese. I grate it myself, store it in a Pyrex container, and I'm going to put that on top, throw it back in the oven for just a couple of minutes to get nice and browned. And when I pull it out, I have a nutritious, delicious, and satisfying meal that my whole family enjoys.
I am not a big snacker, but I did end up having a couple pieces of dried mango and a Mexican wedding cookie that my 9-year-old baked for a snack today, along with a mini Coke Zero. This was a pretty typical day in my kitchen where I cooked good, healthy-ish food for my family, ate what my body needed to be strong and fit, and where I did a whole lot of dishes. Let me know in the comments if you like seeing what we cook up in a day.